Hey guys, it's Jessica, and today I'm going to share with you 10 products that I always travel with. I never travel without. These are not necessarily, some of them are very specific, some of them are more general, but they're things that, you know, if you're packing for a trip or you're planning a trip, whether it's a big trip like a honeymoon or something like that, or maybe it's just a road trip, these are still products, no matter what, that I don't travel without. I'm saying that like 10 different ways. I don't know why, but I'm actually really excited. Tyler, my husband, thought of this video idea because I was like, you know, I just filmed a Get Ready With Me today, and I was like, I just feel like filming some more. Do you have any great video ideas? And he was like, why don't you talk about like the things you travel with all the time? Because he knows, he's a travel agent. We travel a lot. He has his system of packing. He has his packing list. I have my own packing list I have on my phone, and I use the same one no matter what the trip is. And I kind of just copy and paste and then delete things as I pack them. That has nothing to do with this video, I guess, other than, sorry, I put a setting spray on just now, and it's like still drying on my cheeks. It still feels wet. Anyone, you know that feeling? Anyway. All right, and I might throw in some bonus items at the end because I keep thinking of more things. I'm like, oh, I should mention that, so we'll see. First thing I always travel with, this one's not necessarily beauty related, but I always travel with a really comfortable sweatshirt, hoodie, something. So like this one I got at Victoria's Secret, if I can find. It was honestly kind of pricey, and I mean it was extremely pricey, but it's one of those things that I'm like, it's so comfortable. I wear it all of the time. It's like my favorite color in the world. And they had, of course, different colors. So I'll try to find it and link it. I'm assuming it's still available. I just bought it like a month ago. But I always travel with at least something, even if we're going to a beach where I know it's gonna be 80, 90 degrees. I still will bring at least one sweater, whether it's for the plane ride, whether it's because I get cold at night, whether it's because it's chilly on the beach at night, whatever the reason might be, I always end up needing at least one warm, you know, sweatery item. And I usually don't need more than one unless I'm going, like a couple years ago we went to London over like Christmas and New Year's. It was cold. I was bringing a lot of sweaters. So on to beauty items. One thing that is worth the splurge in my opinion is find your favorite hairspray in travel size. So the reason I say it's worth the splurge is because my favorite hairspray is like $20. It's the Bedhead Masterpiece. It smells amazing. It's my favorite hairspray. I've never found a hairspray better where it holds my hair, but it's not super crunchy, but it definitely holds it. It smells really good throughout the day. It will add texture to my hair in the way that I need it to, especially like if it's second day hair. I like this more than dry shampoo because I can just spray it in my hair, gives it that texture so I can throw it up in a cute messy bun, and it holds. The travel size of expensive hairsprays are still expensive. Like I want to say the travel size is like $8 or something, but I found a sale like last year and it was like 3 for $10 and I was like, done. And I just bought like 6. So I invested because I knew I would use them. And traveling with your favorite hairspray, there's nothing better. It's like traveling with something you know always works for you. Whereas before I would just grab whatever was in, you know, like the travel section at like Target or wherever. I'd be like, oh, Tresemme, that's fine. Well, Tresemme is not my favorite. And so every time I travel, my hair never looked as nice as it does at home. And I'm like, and then when I found these, I'm like, duh, totally worth the splurge. So that, I know that's a very specific tip, but for me, it's kind of changed a lot for me and it's really made my hair look a lot better when we're traveling. Another thing I never leave home without beauty-wise is a really good travel mirror. This one I bought on Haute Look a long time ago. I can look for similar ones to link, and of course I can link Haute Look because they'll have travel-y kinds of things like this on there all the time, and it's like 50% off. But the reason I love this is because the mirror itself is protected. This takes up virtually no room in my luggage. I can slide it in my makeup bag and it's perfect. But I can set it on a tabletop and get ready with it. It's just big enough. I need to clean it before our next trip. It's just big enough that, you know, I can see my whole face, but it's not so big that it's like difficult to pack. So I love this. It totally, again, like changed the game for me when it came to travel. Because there's nothing worse than being in like a hotel and like trying to get ready in like a tiny mirror because your husband's in the shower and the mirror happens to be where the shower, you know what I mean? So that kind of solved that problem for me. Next thing I never leave without is my favorite perfume. So this is just a little Travelo I bought at Sephora a long time ago. You just take the cap off your perfume and just kind of pump it into there. It's easier than it sounds. And right now I think I have Miss Dior in there, which is my favorite perfume. And I just love it. It's so nice, again, to have your favorite perfume. I sometimes will bring little perfume samples, but again, if it's a perfume that I don't really know that well in a sample and I'm like, oh, I've tried it once or twice, it's good, but then I bring it as my only perfume and I don't end up liking it, I'm like, oh man, I'm stuck with this. and I wear perfume every day. I'm a big perfume person. So I'd rather just bring what I know I love. Now sometimes, this is just a fun little side note, sometimes Tyler and I, depending on if we need like a new perfume or cologne, you know, if I already have too many perfumes at home, we don't. But like, for example, on our first cruise a while back ago, we both went to like the, you know, the nice shops they have on cruise ships, and we both invested in a nice perfume and cologne. And it was so fun because the entire trip then we would use that perfume and cologne. And so we started to have that scent memory with that perfume. And we've been doing that for quite a long time now, every time we travel, or many times when we travel. And it's so fun. So like now I have that one, it's YSL Black Opium. I guess that wasn't the first cruise we went on, it was just a cruise. Anyway, but now every time I spray it, it makes me think of that trip. And it just, so every morning I'm like, ah. Anyway, that's just a fun side note. Next thing I always bring is good skincare. You guys, I can't emphasize this enough. If you're already into skincare, like when you're at home, do you need to bring your entire skincare regimen? No. And for me, we're usually flying and we almost never check a bag. So I've gotten really good at taking clear bags and filling that sucker up with travel size. So for me, like when I've got Sephora perks, you know, like you can get 250 point perks, 500 point perks, I will look for skincare sets for that. And they oftentimes have them because those are perfect travel size toiletries, especially if you find a brand or specific products in there that you know you already like. Now, I say this with a caveat because I am always nervous. I don't usually travel with skincare I've not used because you never know how your skin might react to it. And you don't want to be on a vacation where you're taking pictures and your skin have a bad reaction to something, you know? So I try to be really good about either trying it out a couple times before I go or just making sure it's a product I already know. So for example, this is something I've actually just been refilling this one. I clean it out and refill it. It's the Clinique Take the Day Off Makeup Removing Balm. And I love this stuff. I will refill it. I'll buy a full size. I need to refill it before we go. But it's just really easy. And I like that this doesn't have to go in my liquids bag because it's a balm. I can usually just scoop it and it takes my makeup right off. I know I can trust it. I know it's sensitive on my skin. The Drunk Elephant Lala Retro Whipped Cream. It's not my favorite moisturizer, but it is one I've been using, so I know my skin's fine with it. So that's one I feel comfortable traveling with. Now, the other thing, like within this same one, bring a serum. If you're used to using serums every single night, bring a serum with you, because when you travel, you know, you might be in a different climate. All of those things do take a toll on your skin. And of course, if it's a long flight, it definitely dries your skin out, you know, all of those things. So keeping your skin healthy while you're traveling is huge because that's gonna affect how your makeup looks when you put it on in the morning before you go out and take pictures in all these different places. And so for me, I used to say, oh, well, I need more room in my liquids bag, so I'll take the skincare out and I'll just put in, you know, whatever I need room for. I started to realize, like, you know what, Jessica, you need to cut back on the makeup and bring more skincare because that's what's really making the difference in how I look on the vacation. Does that make sense? So I've kind of had a shift when it comes to that, but love bringing skincare with me. Does that mean I bring every single step, like a toner and all that? Not necessarily, but I always bring a serum. I always bring a good moisturizer, things like that. Next thing I always travel with is my favorite lip balm. So right now, my favorite lip balm is the Kapari Lip Love. That's actually what's on my lips right now. Because if for some reason, I forget lip products, at least having a lip balm. Now the reality is anywhere you go, you could buy a lip balm. It might be more expensive depending on where you go. Like for example, we're going to Disney, everything's more expensive there. And they probably are not gonna have what I like genuinely would use. But lip balm is so important. Your lips get so dried out traveling, mine do anyway, and I feel like when I'm traveling, I try to drink a ton of water, but it's never as much water as I drink when I'm at home, and that as well, I feel like takes a toll on my lips. So I love bringing my favorite lip balm. Of course, my favorite lip balm I feel like changes all the time, but this is one that I really like. Another thing I always bring is something to hold my hair back when I'm getting ready. This is one of my favorites. I don't know where I got it, but it really is my favorite. But just some kind of a stretchy headband or a headband, so that way when I'm getting ready, I can just hold my hair back, get ready really quickly, and I don't have to feel like I have to pull all of my hair up. This just holds it back enough, especially like if I've already done my hair-ish for the day and I don't really feel like, you know, throwing it up and maybe ruining that style. These kinds of things are the perfect answer, and I always bring them. I use them when I'm washing my face at night. I use them when I'm getting ready in the morning. It's one of those very used things that for the longest time I didn't travel with, and I really missed it. So that's something I always remember to bring. Another thing in the idea of skincare, depending on how long you're traveling, if you're traveling for like 2 days, you might not need to worry about this part, but I always bring a mask or two. I don't bring like 5 masks. Like that's kind of crazy. I don't bring a big old tube of masks because I know realistically we're probably not gonna have the time to do masks. But I like to bring at least one. So one of my favorite quick ones is called it's from the brand Patchology. All of their masks are good, but they have these flash masks that are 5-minute, really quick masks. Sometimes I'll do them in the morning before I'm getting ready, like maybe I'm brushing my teeth with it on. No, that's kind of hard to do. Brushing your teeth with a mask on is kind of weird and gross, and you get toothpaste in it, it's really gross. But like maybe I'm drying my hair or I'm kind of drinking some coffee, I'll throw one of these on, and it really, again, it gives you that moisture back. I freaking love these. But then there's other options too. Like Sephora has these sleeping masks where really you get a couple uses out of them. And they have different ones for different skin needs. Like for example, this is the green tea one that's good for mattifying and anti-blemish. But you just put it on your face like a moisturizer and you sleep with it. It's so easy, it's so quick. You could share it with your partner, whoever you're traveling with. Nug has really good face masks. These are not sleeping ones. These are ones you leave on for a while and wash off, but those are great. Also even like eye treatment. So actually a student and her family actually got me these. But they're the collagen gold powder eye mask. So there's all kinds of things like that that you can bring. You know, for me, my eyes get tired, so I think I am gonna bring like these two probably with me on our trip. So just bringing a mask. Again, if it's a shorter trip, you probably don't need to worry about it. But if it's a longer and you know you might have a little bit of time, you know, even doing it right, like at the halfway point of your trip, I think can make a big difference. Another thing I always bring is jewelry. However, I'm bringing this up for a reason. First of all, I always save, like when you get like little things of jewelry, I'll save the bag. I don't save all of them. Like these are the only 3 I have. But that kind of limits me on what I can bring because I used to bring so much jewelry, way too much. I'd bring like 6 pairs of earrings and 5 necklaces and like 4 bracelets. And I'm like, I don't even in my normal life here at home wear that many different types of jewelry in a given week. So I've really gotten better about, you know, pick 1 or 2 fun pairs of earrings, a pair of studs to wear to the airport, maybe a dainty necklace and a statement necklace, and maybe 1 to 2 bracelets. And if it can't fit in one of these bags, it doesn't go. Because these are just so simple. Again, they don't take up much room. You could even throw it in your makeup bag if you wanted, you know. But that way I'm kind of limited. I used to bring like little travel jewelry boxes but it was giving me too much room to fill up, and it was just more than I ever needed. And that's just less stuff that you need to keep track of when you're unpacking maybe in a hotel room. You know, I used to have so much that I'm like, oh, and I'm like got jewelry everywhere. It just wasn't worth it. So totally keep these kinds of things. I always travel with jewelry, but a very limited amount. The 10th thing, and this is again very specific, I always bring a setting spray. You know, there are things that I obviously always bring. Of course, I'm gonna bring concealer and a foundation and SPF and those kinds of things. But this is something that I used to not worry about making room for in my liquids bag, but I have recently. This is just one I have right in front of me. This is the MAC Fix Plus in a travel size. But really anything. They have drugstore ones in travel size. You'd be amazed what you can find in travel size, especially if you look online. You'd be really amazed. But the reason it's that important that I would include it in my top 10 things I always travel with is because you know when you've traveled and you're using a mirror you're not used to and you end up looking in natural light and you're like, oh my gosh, my skin looks crepey and dry and gross. This kind of helps, any kind of setting spray, because when you spray it all over, especially actually the MAC Fix Plus, and this is cheaper than you'd think. I'll see if I can find this travel size to link because I want to say it was like $8 to $10. It wasn't as bad as you'd think. And this is lasting me forever, you know? But I'll spray it all over. I sprayed it on today because I felt like my under eyes were looking kind of dry and crepey. So I sprayed it all over and it just helps all of your makeup, your powder, your foundation, everything melt together. I really think it does. And not only that, but it's also refreshing. If you get off of a flight or maybe you're halfway through the day and you're just like, ugh, I need to refresh my makeup. Just spraying that on just completely refreshes it. It kind of cools you, it wakes you up. So it's one of those random travel things that it's totally worth having room for in your liquids bag because it's really, I've used it way more than I ever thought I would when I travel. And frankly, I feel like I use setting spray more when I travel than I do when I'm at home. So those are the top 10 items I always travel with. Let me know down below what your favorite items to travel with are, even whether it's a specific product or maybe it's just kind of a general category of things that you're like, oh my gosh, I always bring this. I'd love to know. I know a lot of you guys would love to know as well. So definitely mention that down in the comments and we can get a conversation going about our favorite travel items. I love to travel. Do you guys love to travel? I love it. I think what's weird, and I wonder if anyone else is the same, I like preparing for travel almost more than the travel itself. Well, not more than. But I love like these days before we travel where I'm like, okay, what makeup am I gonna, what lipstick am I gonna bring? What, you know, and just being very particular because again, I used to really overpack. I used to bring 3 to 4 lipsticks and 3 lip liners. And I'm like, again, in a given week, I never wear that much lipstick or lip liner. So I've gotten so much better about bringing 1 lipstick, 1 lip gloss, you know, and being very particular. And it almost makes the travel more fun because you're forced to use this kind of curated collection of products that you've curated for yourself. You know what I mean? And I just think that's so fun. So anyway, let me know what your favorite travel items are below. Oh, and if you are interested to follow us along in our travels, we always vlog over on our vlog channel, on Tyler's channel, my husband's channel. I just said channel way too many times. I will link that below if you are interested. We've been vlogging for years on every single trip we go on, but right now we're on a trip to Disney World and a Disney cruise and then back to Disney World. It's kind of our baby moon before we have our baby. If you are wanting to follow along with us, definitely go check it out, subscribe to his channel, and tell him I sent ya. Wins me brownie points. Anyway, I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.